Now, it is possible that we have a thesis that has all three parts and yet is still a weak thesis. So we're going to look at the signs of a strong thesis and what makes a thesis better for specifically the college essay. So the first thing that we're going to look at is that a strong thesis takes a stand. We want to make sure that we're not catering to every piece of opposition to our argument. Now, there are no ways that we're going to prove an argument. In order to prove it, it now would become a fact and it's not worth arguing anymore. We're always going to have opposition. But in a thesis, we don't want to address every piece of opposition, especially if it's not going to be addressed within the evidence of the essay. So we're going to want to take that strong stand. Let's look at a weak thesis here. I think peas should be eaten, even though some people disagree, but they're healthy and can be put into lots of meals, although everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Okay, so this one is trying to cater to that opposition. Are we going to argue that some people disagree and that everyone is entitled to their own opinion? No, these aren't going to be components of the essay. And because they're in the thesis, we're promising to talk about them. And so it really causes problems. In addition, we look at this beginning phrase, I think. So we would think about what is the opposition? The opposition is actually going to say, no, you don't think that. So it's not about the topic anymore. It's more about what you think. So we want to eliminate those type of statements also. Now, sometimes it is helpful to start with I think or I feel and write out our opinion. And that's okay. But then go back and take out that I think or I feel to just give that stronger thesis. So we then again go to this thesis. Peas should be a part of everyone's diet because they're nutritious, cheap, and versatile. Now, are peas good for everyone's diet? There might be people that are allergic to peas or people that won't eat them, and so they lack the nutrition that other vegetables could give that they like. There are exceptions, but we're not going to address those here in the thesis, mainly because we're not going to address it within the essay. So we want to make sure that we're just giving that strong thesis that we can help support within the evidence. Okay, so again, we're not going to prove it, we're just going to support it. And because we have that support, we can make that strong thesis. The next one is that it justifies discussion and has multiple sides. So we look at certain topics. For example, if we looked at reading, and I said, reading is good for you. That's not really something that's going to have controversy. I'm not going to see experts who are saying reading is actually detrimental. We just don't have the multiple sides for that topic. Let's look at another one here. You are bound to find a therapist in about every city in the nation. Okay, this is closer to a truth than it is an opinion. Now, of course, we know that this is not going to be true. We're going to have cities without a therapist. But what are we really arguing here? This lacks any type of discussion. It lacks multiple sides. This is going to be about a one-paragraph essay. Okay, so we want something with more controversy, more discussion. So we take something like this: despite increased awareness of mental health issues, societal stigma and inadequate resources continue to hinder effective care for individuals suffering from anxiety and depression. Okay, so we're going to be arguing for better resources. We're going to be arguing that society should stop judging people with anxiety and depression. These are topics that are better for discussion, that are going to have those multiple sides. Okay, so this is a stronger thesis. Also, a strong thesis will express one focus and goal. So if we look at some of the larger issues, climate change, gun control, these are so broad that you could write a book on them instead of a 4-page essay. So we really have to narrow that focus and goal to fit within that word count. So we look at this thesis, something needs to be done about the increase in technology. It's just too vague and too abstract. We don't have that narrowed focus. We see that word something. Something needs to be done. Okay, so we're not being given any alternatives or any suggestions on what we need to do. And then the increase in technology. What's the problem with the increase in technology? Okay, so it's just so broad that it really makes no sense as far as the argument is concerned. Let's look at a more narrow focus. While integrating technology in classrooms has the potential to enhance learning, its over-reliance risks diminishing critical thinking skills and personal engagement among students. Okay, so here we have a focused goal. We're now talking about specifically technology in the classrooms. We're talking about over-reliance on technology and how that can diminish critical thinking and personal engagement. Now, you will also notice that we have this claim has the potential to enhance learning. Okay, so this also will be addressed within the essay. And it's kind of nice because we do mention the good parts of technology before talking about the possible bad parts. So we want to make sure we have that narrowed focus throughout the essay.